Here is another story about a horrendous crime being committed. Make sure to finish the story in order to know and understand more. Cody Amato failed to show up for work as a nurse anesthetist at Orlando Regional Medical Center in Orlando, Florida on January 25, 2019. This was out of character for the ambitious 31-year-old medical professional who always came early and it worried his workers. They called Cody's girlfriend, who couldn't contact him either, leading them to request that authorities in neighboring Chulota check on Amato's residence, where he resided with his parents and younger brother. Officers reacted quickly, arriving at the huge property at 9:17 a.m. and discovered something much more horrible than they could have expected. When authorities entered the house, they discovered Cody's father, 59-year-old Chad Amato, face up on the kitchen floor with a deadly gunshot wound. Officers located Cody's corpse on the floor of a storage area, and a 61-year-old Margaret Amato slumped over her office desk with an apparent gunshot wound to the head. Almost every member of the Amato family that resided in the house has died, but one member of the family, Grant, was nowhere to be located. When authorities tracked him down to a nearby hotel, they discovered an utterly odd series of events that led to the deaths of Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato. Grant Amato was the youngest son in a family of accomplished medical experts. Chad, his father, was a clinical pharmacist, and Margaret, his mother, was an operations manager in charge of medical coders. Grant and Cody both finished nursing degrees at the neighboring University of Central Florida before enrolling in a nurse anesthetist program, following in their parents' footsteps. Cody finished the program while Grant did not. Grant was able to gain a job as a nurse at Advent Health Orlando despite his prior nursing degree. Grant, on the other hand, was found to have inappropriately supplied at least 8 vials of the strong sedative propofol to patients when he considered were not receiving enough pain treatment in June 2018. Grant was sacked from the hospital and then arrested for grand theft as a consequence of this infringement. However, fortunately for Grant, the hospital refused to prosecute charges and Grant was able to escape criminal charges. Grant was unable to find work in his industry after being dismissed from his nursing position and jailed. This setback prompted Grant to attempt Twitch broadcasting, in which he planned to play video games in front of a live audience who would either pay him or subscribe to his channel. Cody and Chad aided Grant in this endeavor by giving credit cards to assist him in purchasing streaming equipment and advertising for his channel. Grant was struggling as a Twitch broadcaster. Despite stacking up debts on his father's and brother's credit cards, he seldom broadcasted and earned less than $150 per month from viewers. Instead of working, Grant increasingly immersed himself in the world of webcam models, women who would broadcast to a live audience that pays them for conversation and sexual pleasure. Grant became particularly smitten with a Bulgarian performer known online as Sylvie, spending hours with her almost every night in pricey private discussions that cost hundreds of dollars or more each session. Grant gradually constructed an online persona, portraying himself to Sylvie as a rich professional video gamer. To maintain this facade, Grant lavished Sylvie with money and brought her lingerie and toys for her to model in her web presentations. Grant became enchanted by the good response he got from the attractive model when he gave her money and presents. which further fueled his out-of-control spending and compulsive behavior. Grant had spent over $200,000 of his family's money on Sylvie in only a few months. When Chad questioned Grant about excessive expenditure, Grant revealed how he had spent the money. Grant, however, elected to quit the 60-day treatment after just a few days, later informing authorities that the professional advised him he did not have a true addiction. When Chad Amato returned home, he offered his son a list of conditions that he had to follow if he wanted to stay at home. Chad Amato had committed to postpone his retirement to pay off Grant's debt. One of the most significant regulations was that Grant could not have unsupervised internet access, could not have a smartphone, and could not contact Sylvie. Grant ultimately persuaded his mother to let him use her phone to call Sylvie after returning home to discover his dream world destroyed. When Chad learned of this, he acted on his threat and had his son leave the house. Police detained Grant Amato for interrogation after following him to a nearby DoubleTree hotel, as seen in the video above. Strangely, Amato seemed unfazed during the questioning, and despite a team of investigators visiting his hotel room, he never questioned why he was being questioned by the police. Grant's large debt and strained relationship with his father were discovered by police. Amato further telling authorities that his father had ordered him to go and that Cody had promised him rather ominously that he would take care of it. When officers confronted Grant about his involvement in his family's murder, he feigned surprise and sniffled as he exclaimed that he hadn't murdered anyone and that Cody must have killed his parents and then turned the weapon on himself. Investigators who had studied the crime scene and concluded that it was staged as a murder-suicide were not surprised. Prosecutors claimed that Grant Amato was so upset by his separation from Sylvie and excommunication from the family home that he broke into the residence at 5:30 p.m. on January 24th. He shot his mother in the back of the head at her workplace desk. Grant then waited in the kitchen, and when his father came in, he shot him once behind the ear. Chad crawled on the kitchen floor while Grant stepped over him and shot him in the head again, this time in an execution style. Grant opened Chad's phone using the fingerprints of his dead father and sent text messages to get Cody to come over. Later that evening, when he got off work, Cody came. He came in via a storage area and Grant shot him in the face. He then placed the pistol and holster on Cody's corpse to give the impression that he had killed Cody and then killed himself. Surely, that story was worth your time. What do you think about Grant Amato's story? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and make sure to hit that like button and click the notification bell to catch more mind-blowing murder series. That's it for now. Stay chilly.